I refuse to believe that the ballpoint is dead. Hello and welcome to Splat Talk, the series where I let my mind smack talk about stuff related to Splatoon in general. And today we're gonna talk about patch 4.4.0 of Splatoon 2. There have been many changes made in version 4.4.0 and this led many people to believe that Ballpoint is dead, but I played the game in version 4.4.0 and I'm gonna deliver my first impressions to you. First off, there have been changes made to Kelp Dome in all modes. In Splat Zones, they have added a slope to the box in front of the spawn. This will probably facilitate getting into action to the middle point of the terrain, since this is where the Splat Zone is. And in the other ranked modes, they changed the terrain to the left of the spawn. As you can see in Clam Blitz, this feels like a breath of fresh air to access the clam basket, since it was just a tight corridor which didn't facilitate neither excursions towards the clam basket nor defense at the left of the spawn for either team before version 4.4.0. And now the action can be more frantic since this part of the terrain has become more open-spaced to everyone. Then, for many weapons like Splattershot Jr., Slash-O-Matic, Splush-O-Matic, Aerospray or even Gal52 can shoot ink faster by 1 or 2 frames after changing back from squid or octopus to human form. For L3 nozzle nose, firing is more likely to ink the area around your feet, which can make its life easier on the battlefield. For Jet Squelcher, Swiffer and Eliter, main power-up will add better ink coverage in addition to the other perks this ability provides to these weapons, which in my opinion is not to be underestimated in this game. For Undercover Brawler, when main power-up is equipped, its benefits will trigger more easily even if few quantities equipped. For Splat Dualies and Tetra Dualies, they decreased the size of the opponent's hitbox while firing normally, which makes it more difficult to hit its opponents like that. Besides that, opponent's hitbox size while firing after dodge rolling remains unchanged. For Flingstar Roller, they reduced the delay to hit top rolling speed by 30 frames, increased vertical swing speed by 11%, and adjusted damage drop-off distance for vertical swings to be less severe, which in other terms means that the distance at which a vertical Flingstar swing can deal 100 of damage has been extended by 5%. In short, many small changes to make Flingstar more viable. Lastly, Ballpoint's damage output has been reduced from 32 to 28 with short-range shots and from 32 to 30 with long-range shots. Now, I tested out Ballpoint splatling in version 4.4 and to me there was no particular problem I encountered with that. Sure, it might be tough for close quarter, but if you add a decent amount of main power-up, this shouldn't be that big of a deal. As for the specials, yet another buff for Tenta missiles. They reduced the delay between firing all missiles and making your next move by 15 frames. Man, the specials gets more buff as time passes by. For Booyah Bomb, they just made the mother of all buffs to this special. They reduced the explosion by 30 frames, increased the speed at which the explosion expands, increased damage output by 32%, slightly increased the ink coverage of the special, made the ground beneath the bomb throwers feet inkable after the bomb was thrown, and extended the duration of the armor after the bomb has been thrown by 15 frames. To me, this is just what I expected from this buff. That the Booyah Bomb shoots faster and it's faster and harder. That's what it needed the most. Now that is a decent and viable special weapon. It makes weapon with Booyah Bomb like Gensa Gal52 more viable with these buffs. And then Ultra Stamp. They improved the movement and rotation speed while using the stamp, increased minimum damage output from the shockwave created by when swinging the stamp on the ground from 30 to 40 of damage. Splat bombs and opponent shots will now be cancelled as you swing the Ultra Stamp, and they decreased the delay between swinging the stamp in midair and repeatedly swinging the stamp on the ground by 4 frames. The specials will sure be a blast to play now, especially with Sheldon's Peaks arriving around the corner. For ink resistance, they increased time before starting to take damage after stepping on enemy ink, with a maximum of 9 frames with a full equipment of ink resistance up. It's not that big of a change, but it's welcoming enough for those who use fewer quantities of ink resistance up, I believe. And lastly, they increased the amount of points required to fully charge a special from 200 to 210 for H3 Nose D, 170 to 190 for Kansas Sloshing Machine, 200 to 210 for Explosion, 190 to 200 for Custom Explosion, and 200 to a somewhat whopping 230 points for Ballpoint Splatling Nouveau. Now, I heard complaints of people not being content with Sloshing Machine not being nerfed hard enough, with some claiming it has become the strongest Slayer weapon in the game for understandable and somehow good reasons. And not just for Kin's slashing machine, for all slashing machines. But the thing is, in itself, the slashing machine might be an effective killing machine, but not a good enough painting machine, which in my opinion remains its main weakness. I can understand the rage of many people, but I don't think this weapon needs to be nerfed that hard. As for Ballpoint, especially Ballpoint Nouveau, I consider these nerfs to be not that big of a deal again. It just takes some adaptation for it, especially for Ballpoint Nouveau, but with a few special charge-ups, special saver and main power-up, this should be fine. Overall, there's a lot of good stuff coming from this patch. Let me know in the comments what you think of this patch, and if you have an idea of a topic I can splat talk on, then feel free to suggest too. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell for more Splatoon related content and other stuff too. This was Stardust Sonic, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Long live the ink strike, baby!